Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to the K.Kinte show, man. This is a Black August special edition right here. You know what I'm saying? Because I got this brother right here that I had interviewed before, man, and he's back. I think it been like a couple, it might have been about 3 years ago. This brother had came from Miami, Florida to Richmond, Virginia to visit the slave trail and the African burial ground. And I think y'all know who I'm talking about because y'all follow this brother too. Brotha Hassan. What's going on, my
Peace,
brother?
peace. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you for having me on your platform.
Man, all the time, bro. All the time. I appreciate you, man. Because you know that when you came down here, matter of fact, before we get into it, Brotha Hassan, I just want to remind people before you came down here. You know, I mean, before we do this interview, the first time you came down here and you visit, I just want to show these people out here a couple of little clips. You know what I'm saying? Right quick, if you don't mind, my brother.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this when Brotha Hassan came to Richmond. And he visit the slave trail, man, in the African burial ground. I mean, brother was dropping jewels
Brotha
too.
Hassan. Whenever I'm in Richmond, Virginia, I'm tuning into the K.Kinte show.
And got my brother Hassan taking him get some good food.
Brother went to Mama J's, you know what I'm saying, in the city. He supported the
He coming
city. He
around the
showed the
corner,
city
he showed
love.
some,
Black
important
business
things.
owners, he showed love to.
My city landmarks and different things. Let's check it out. On our way to Mama J's, you know what I'm saying?
And brother broke some real information down about this Harriet Tubman thing too. We coming up on.
As you see the Harriet Tubman, I like this one of my favorite pictures too because they're always showing the light. They show the light, you know what I'm saying? It's like she got the light and different things. So,
one thing about the Harriet Tubman photos is that they rarely show her with the shotgun that she used to carry throughout her trips. You get what I'm saying? And she didn't carry the shotgun for the slave masters. She carried the shotgun for the Negroes that wanted to go back. Because she said, if you go back, you're going to tell them where the Underground Railroad is. So she would blow their heads off if they ever tried to escape. She actually killed her own husband, by the way.
That's some knowledge for y'all, ladies and gentlemen.
Hold on, my brother. So a lot of people ain't even know that though, bro. You had dropped the jewel right there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people ain't know that.
Yeah, Harriet Tubman, man. We get the old watered down, plagiarized version of Harriet Tubman, man. But she was a soldier, man. She was a rider, man. It is rumored that she caught a few bodies, man.
Yes.
But we get the watered down abolitionist version of Harriet Tubman, and we don't get the real soldier. We don't get the real rider. When Harriet Tubman was alive, she had a bounty on her head for about $40 million. And if you translate that money to today, that'd be worth like $2 million. So she had a bounty on her head for about $2 million back in the day. This was a real soldier, a real
soldier,
rider,
real soldier.
Yeah.
All right, man. So I'm glad to have you on, Brotha Hassan, man, because we're gonna get into the discussion, man. As I titled it, discussion, the state of Black America. We talking about the state of everything, mental health, the state of Black America. Let's get into it, Brotha Hassan. What do you think about that right now?
I mean, right now, as any time in history since we've been under the system of oppression, we are dealing with a level of menticide. And menticide dealing with the mental mind and the depth of that mind, right? So you got homicide, you got suicide, you also got menticide, which is the mental destruction of one's mind, right? So we're dealing with menticide from the system of racism, white supremacy, and how we relate to one another and how we relate to this system in general. And it is destroying us, man. It is destroying our love situations, right? Like, if you want to understand why we got problems in Black love, you have to understand racism, white supremacy, right? They benefit from the idea of having broken Black families, right? They benefit from mass incarceration. They benefit from the self-hatred that we exhibit and exude on one another, right? So it's just a total mental destruction of our mind that take place daily. Like, right, for example, you're from Virginia, right?
Yeah, you know it.
And
Richmond.
And the ethos of Virginia is for lovers, correct?
Man, that's correct. That's the slogan, correct. Break it down, brother.
Out of Virginia. That comes out of the Loving versus Virginia case, where you had the first interracial marriage to take place in the United States, Loving versus Virginia. Look that up, right?
Wow.
And so it said, Virginia is for lovers, right? And that became the thing. But we know that Virginia had the highest rate of lynchings besides Mississippi and Alabama, right?
And I feel like Virginia is one of the most suppressed, bottled up states in the United States.
Correct.
It's suppression, like what you was talking about. Go ahead, continue, my bro.
Correct. So you get this outward push of Virginia is for lovers. We're the first place to make it legal to get married, right? And interracially. But then behind the scenes, you get black men lynched and castrated, and black women being raped. So that's how white supremacy works. It gives you an illusion. It puts something in your face to say, "Look, everybody, it's not happening." But behind the scenes, you get black men being lynched, man. So we gotta understand how this system works, man. And when they say Virginia is for lovers, do not believe it. Matter of fact, the clips have a line where they say Virginia's for lovers, but trust there's hate here for out of town.
Man, Virginia is not for lovers. And I'm from here, from Richmond, Virginia. This is Virginia is for hate. It's hatred bottled up, and it's mental oppression. It's the slave mentality. We have an identity crisis down here in Virginia, and I'm just keeping it real. I always say we cannot get along down here, bro. We can't build down here. Like my brother, I can build with you, and like I said, you from Miami, Florida, and we build like we brothers and different things. It's hard for me to even do that in this city because we so worried about who's getting ahead more than who's competition, and then we small. You know what I mean? We small. Especially the region I'm talking about. Richmond is the capital of Virginia. So Virginia Beach and all that, like you were saying with the clips and all of that, that's a different type of energy down there.
Right.
Richmond is the bottled up. We are the capital of Virginia. So we got the most bottled up, hateful, slave mentality energy. Right. You broke that down right there when you said that Virginia is for lovers. Go, you broke that down, my brother. Yeah. But look, this another thing, Brother Hassan. I got to get your take on this Brittany Griner situation. WNBA player, got 9 years in Russia for cannabis oil, different things. So, and she just got her time. I just wanted to get your take on that, man. And because we were talking about Harriet Tubman, right? And this is the most funniest shit I seen on the internet, and I don't know if you've seen it, my brother, but somebody had put a picture of Brittany Griner on the Time magazine, like she's the next, saying she's the next Harriet Tubman or something. I'm like, huh? That's she's a basketball player. She's not a freedom fighter.
No,
she's not a revolutionary.
No, and the problem I have with that is that a lot of times, because I guarantee you, if you would have asked her previously before her being incarcerated what she identified more with, her sexuality or her race, she would have went with her sexuality, right? She would have leaned more to the lesbian side, right? The problem that I have in our community is that we want to lean heavily on our black side when we in trouble. We don't want to scream black power and unity until we are in trouble. And then we expect the black community to rally behind us and come save us. But if you would have asked her a few months ago, do you identify more with your gayness or your blackness? Because I'm sure she went to many gay parades. And I'm not knocking any gay people. Yeah. I'm sure she went to all the gay parades. She had the LBG tattooed on her, the rainbow. She was representing that all day. But if you would have came to her and said, sister, black power, we got to stay down. I ain't trying to hear all that Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X talk. That Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X talk. And that's a problem that we have in the black community. Nobody wants to be black or stand up for blackness until they need blackness.
I totally agree. That's why I definitely wanted to know your take on it, because I was wondering, like, where the LGBT community at for her right now. I was just wondering, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, why they supposed to be on the White House lawn doing picketing and everything.
Yeah, I mean, we get confused by that, and that's one of the elements of racism, white supremacy. One of the elements is sex, right? So you got economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and healthcare. All of those things are functions of racism, white supremacy. So Nelly Fuller says, if you can confuse someone sexually, they're confusing everything else, right? So once you're able to confuse them sexually, You're able to confuse them politically. You're able to confuse them, ideology in their ideology. Excuse me. So yeah, we really got to start looking at it. And I'm not saying that there aren't any gay brothers and sisters out there who will ride for the cause. I get it. I don't appreciate the lifestyle. I don't accept the lifestyle. That doesn't mean I hate you as an African, as a black person. It's just not something that is a lifestyle that we choose to push and put in the forefront of our community.
Facts. I totally agree. And we not here, I'm definitely not here to bash no community, no LGBT, no straight, no nothing. I feel whatever you are, that's what your preference is. I'm not here to bash you. But I do feel like this though too, when it come down to, far as our blackness, like you said, I feel like a lot of people want to identify with being black when it's in trouble time like that. When it ain't when it's party, all this, don't nobody want to identify that they black.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
So that's the only problem, man.
Yeah, we become something totally different, when it's time to be black, when it's time to put our racial group first. Now, do we have ethnic differences? Of course, right? But when it comes to putting our race first, we become something different.
Facts, man. Yeah, man. I mean, and then we were talking about that mental health thing, as far as with Black America, man. Especially the mental health on black men that a lot of people don't want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? The mental health that we go through as men. Females go to mental health too, as well. Definitely. But like I said, we suffering from a lot of men suffering from depression, suicidal. You want to break a lot of that stuff down, my brother?
Well, so right now, black men and black teens are leading in the United States in suicide, right? And black women have actually been studied by the United States Army because they have the lowest level of suicide, right? And so if we look at the attack as being physically on the black man, also mentally, we can see that the system of racism and white supremacy ingrains this level of self-hatred into us, right? And matter of fact, let me break it down in a way where the audience can really digest what I'm saying. So what is suicide? Suicide, when someone kills themselves, is because they really want to kill somebody else, right? Whether it's a bully at school, it's their ex-wife. That's why a lot of people leave suicide notes, right? Because the person comes to my funeral, I hate them. They really want to kill that person. But what happens is, because of the internal self-hatred, they end up killing themselves. Black men subconsciously realize or consciously realize that they are under the system of racism and white supremacy, and that they want to attack and kill white people and get themselves out of this system. But some of them are scared to do it. So what do? They internalize that self-hatred and then kill themselves through drinking, smoking, black on black violence. Right. This is what Dr. Amos Wilson talks about in his book, Black on Black Violence. The psychological dynamic to white on white, to keep white on white people in power. I messed the whole part of the last part of the book up, but it's black on black violence. So that's what that essentially is. That's black men wanting to free themselves of the system of white supremacy, but ultimately killing themselves in the end instead of killing white people or attacking white people, right? Because
now let me ask you this. I didn't mean to cut you off, Brother Hassan. I just want to ask you this one question. Would you say, far as with this, like you said, the oppression from white supremacy makes us makes us killing each other and different things. So would you blame the white man right now in this present day and time on how the black American, the youth is killing each other? Even when we talk about the music, we smoking on each other packs. We disrespecting each other. We just killing each other. Boom. Would you still say the white man is the problem for us today with that?
Of course.
Okay.
I would say that for many different reasons, right? One of the reasons is we don't own any gun factories, right? We don't know how these guns are getting dropped in our communities. There's been articles about Chicago where people found crates of guns dropped in Chicago. Nobody know where they came from, right? The alcohol, the miseducation. The miseducation is a huge component to why we are committing genocide against ourselves, right? This
Yeah.
indoctrination of self-hatred, this level of cognitive dissonance, where you have black people who view other black people through the eyes of a racist white society, where you can see, if you fast forward back 70, 50 years ago, right? A white person, you look at a white person and they'll tell you, nigga, what the fuck you looking at? Don't you know I kill you? And you fast forward to today, right? And another black person say, nigga, what the fuck you looking at? Nigga, don't you know I kill you, nigga? That is a internalized thing that we have taken in from white people, right? So are the white people directly involved in it? No. The way that white supremacy works is so insidious. It's more behind the scenes. It's more psychological. It's more through the education. And this is what an African-centered education or African-centered idea gives you. It says, look, we got to do for ourselves. We got to provide for ourselves. We got to maintain this level of et cetera, right? So I'll put it like this. I'll put it like this, right? Just to put it in plain terms. You may kick a rock down the mountain, right? And it starts off as a rock, but then that rock hits other rocks and make bigger boulders, right?
Yeah.
And that boulder creates an avalanche full of rocks and goes down and kills a bunch of people down at the end. Now, you started off with kicking down a small rock. Are you still not responsible for the deaths of those people? So slavery, Jim Crow, mass incarceration, the crack epidemic, heroin in the 60s, all these things that white people have kicked in our communities have now trickled down to what we have today. Like we don't like to admit it, but a lot of our people are crack babies. Who came out of crack, right?
Facts.
You know,
facts.
who
You're
came
right.
out of broken homes. So is the white man out there openly saying, I hate you niggas? Nah, they giving you Megan Thee Stallion. They giving you YM Lucci.
And it's crazy you say that, because the number one song in the urban community right now, I guess around the world too, is that, what's that girl name? Fuck nigga free.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you look. They about let's break the psychological thing down of this song, fuck nigga free. I seen some white girls on the internet singing that. I'm FIN fuck nigga free. I'm like, okay. I said, he's really gonna run this up right now. This is gonna break records.
Yeah.
It is breaking records. I'm like, oh man. Because that's it's dangerous, brother. But go ahead, brother. It's dangerous.
No, definitely. See, one of the things that we miss out on is the purpose of music. We think music is simply just to dance to the beat, the rhythms. But if you understand African culture, if you understand how we use music in the past, you will understand how it's now being used against us as a weapon. Right?
Us as a weapon, totally.
Europeans say this all the time. Europeans say we can make art emulate life, or we can make life emulate art. Either way. So when you give people a certain art form, like, again, let me draw it back and put it in simpler terms. You know, we often say, which came first, the chicken or the egg, right? So the question I always ask black people, which came first, the stereotype or the behavior? Did white people stereotype us to be a certain type of way, or were we already that way? And then you have to look at it like that. Which came first, the stereotype or the behavior? They called us stupid. They called us dumb. They said we were inferior. They said this. They said we were.
Now, let me ask you this, Brotha Hassan. Do you think it's too late, though? Do you think it's too late for brothers and sisters? I'm talking about, like, for us to really come together and unite, because we hate each other right now. The white man, I guess, has really done his job, you know, so far as with destroying, putting the crack, the drugs, and all that. So up in 2022, we still can blame and say, yeah, it's the white man, but the white man giving motherfuckers money too now.
Yeah, well, see, that's the part of white supremacy, right? Is that it is a double-edged sword, right? So what's the purpose of giving people money if they miseducated, right? So look who he giving the money to. Look who he giving it to. He giving it to the people that ain't gonna do shit with it anyway. So, but it assuages his conscience, and it also makes him look like, look, I'm not a bad guy. I just gave this person $60 billion. That person is a coon. You're not giving it to no revolutionary. You're not giving it to no person who's really gonna make change in the community. See, that's the thing about white supremacy. It knows how to hide its hand and make it, like I always say, there's no difference between the good white person and the bad white person at all, right? You take the good cop, you take the bad cop. The bad cop, he beating you up. He trying to get a confession, right? The good cop, he buy you food, give you cigarettes, asking you, you want to make phone calls, right? But at the end of the day, their objective is still the same, and that is to take your ass to jail.
Okay.
The good cop still has a duty to take your ass to jail. So the good white guy, the bad white guy, their duty is still to rule over you. There is no difference. Malcolm told us this. There is no difference between the liberal and the Republican. The same thing. The liberal, the thing about him is he wants to give you a fish instead of teaching you how to fish. So these white people, they come into our communities and they give us fish. They don't teach us how to be independent, self-sufficient, you know what I'm saying, people of our own. They say, come to the Democrat Party. We don't want to be a part of that party. We don't want to be involved with that. Show us how to start our own party. Show us how to start our own, political thing.
But think about it. We got gangs out here though too. We got gangs out here. That's and what the reason why I brought that up, right? Because we just was talking about political party and stuff, and we even know what gangs came off of. But today's gangs, though, right now of this youth, if they see a white person walk by, they ain't doing nothing. They walking the other way. Your own brother, we killing each other quick.
Yeah.
So that type of way of how is that unite? What is going to unite that if white supremacy have bottled that up into our people and it trickled down to the youth and it's trickling down, even more.
Well, but the thing about it is that it's sad to say this, but everybody not gonna make it. Yeah, everybody not gonna make it, and some of our people are just so boiled down in Euro Christian way of thinking that it is no reversing that process. And we have to look at it that way. It's sad, but we have to look at it that way. It's kind of like Darwinism to some degree. Would you
say religion messed us up as people? Would you say that? Would you say
religion and sexuality has been and when I mean sexuality, I mean like sexual intercourse has been probably one of the most hindering things in the Black community. If you look at Africa, it's split up between Islam and Christianity, and probably 2% of the whole continent practices traditional African spiritual systems. Everything is Islam or Christianity, right? And they're not going to go against their Islamic brother. That's why you got Boko Haram over there in Nigeria and all these other places, kidnapping other Black people, trying to convert them to Islam, right? Yeah. And you have Christians here in America who's trying to convert you to Christianity to get you to pray to a white Jesus. And then how can you pray to this white Jesus and somehow not feel inferior within yourself, right? So religion has been the number one.
And they really are brainwashed over in Africa. They really are brainwashed over there as far as with that.
I would say across the board in the Caribbean, the continent, here in the United States, it's a problem. But I'm going to show you how religion has been a tool used by white supremacists, right? We're all familiar with Queen Nzinga, right? She was fighting against the Portuguese for about 40 years, right? The Portuguese could not beat her for 40 years. They couldn't beat her. And they came to her with one treaty, one promise. They said, if you convert your kingdom to Christianity, we will stop attacking you. She converted her whole kingdom. Look this up. She converted her kingdom to Christianity, and overnight, they stopped attacking her. But overnight, the people were gone. They were gone. Mentally, they were gone. So,
and then hold on, and this is another thing, right? When we talk about Virginia, when you bring Virginia up kind of early, I got to bring this part up as we talk about this religion. We have the James River down here. The James River, as you know, you came down here to visit that. You've seen that. Then we also have the King James version of the Bible, the King James version. So break that down. I just wanted to speak on that because Virginia, how that suppression happened. But you can go ahead, bro.
Right. Well, we already know that they translated a lot of the so-called biblical texts into English, into the English language, and as they did so, King James and other people decided to implement things in the Bible that would suit slavery, right? So that there are certain scriptures in the Bible that says that slaves obey your masters, so that you can go to heaven. These things were all implemented into the Bible. Same thing with Islam. You got verses that talk about enslaving hijab, the holy war, enslaving Black people. Even down to the Mormons. And they teach in the Mormons that Black skin is somehow a curse, right? So we
Right.
look at these biblical, these Abrahamic religions, we can see how they've been utilized to enslave African people, man, across the board.
Yeah, wow. Facts, bro. One thing about you, man, you know you do your history, man. You definitely is a research scholar. I always have to salute you on that too, brother Hassan.
Appreciate that, brother. I
You
appreciate that.
know, and you know this is Black August, man. This Black August month. You know what I'm saying? I think if I'm not mistaken, Marcus Garvey birthday.
Marcus Garvey's birthday, correct? Yes, Marcus
You
Garvey's
know,
birthday.
so definitely
Yes.
gotta send a salute to the honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. Have to do that. And
Yes,
then not the fact that, you know, since it's Black August, you know, August the 13th was my birthday.
Okay.
And that's the day Marcus Garvey discovered the red, black, and green flag on that day. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm an August baby, I'm a Leo baby, man. I just have to salute Marcus Garvey right there a few minutes ago. So I just want you to go ahead and continue, bro, about
Okay,
that.
happy
Drop some
belated, brother.
jewels
Happy
on
belated,
that.
by
I
the way.
know.
Happy belated.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you,
Yeah.
bro. Thank you,
I'm
man.
even go deep on that. Black August, man. You got Nat Turner's Rebellion.
Woo,
right?
yes, sir. Yep.
Happened in Jerusalem, in Virginia, down
Yeah.
there in the south part of Virginia. You have the
Cortland,
Haitian
Virginia.
Revolution.
Yeah.
You got the Haitian Revolution.
Yeah.
That happened in August. You also have George Jackson, the jailbreak.
Yes.
Happened in August.
George Jackson.
August is a very powerful month for us because it is a Leo month, and the lion represents African power, right? So it is a very powerful month for us. This is why we call it Black August. When you study history and you look at some of the most rebellions we had, I even think Rodney King, the rebellion that took place in I think that was also in August, right? So for us, the month of August is very, very symbolic to us, right?
Symbolic, bro.
For white supremacists, the month of April is very symbolic to them. If you look at most mass shootings, if you look at Hitler's birthday, if you look at all of these things, you will always see that April, a lot of mass shootings take place within white society, right? Dylan Roof, I believe he did his the church down there in South Carolina. I believe he shot the people in April. The Columbine shooting was in April. You got to look at these things. They all take place in April. And I'm not trying to be one of those conspiracy theorists. I'm giving you real deal stuff here.
Facts.
April is a holy month for these white supremacists. Matter of fact, give me 1 second, brother.
Go ahead, brother.
I just got off work too, so y'all got to forgive me.
Yeah, you good, man. Yeah.
I just got off work. So y'all got to start reading these books, man. Y'all got to start reading these books because they give you the blueprint to this. This is a book called The Turner Diaries.
Ooh, hold that book up, brother. Hold that book up. Yeah.
Look this book up, The Turner Diaries. Get this book right here. And there's also a book called I can't think of the name right now. It's slipping my mind. But these white supremacists, they write these books, and these books become manifestos in their community. If you read, like they even quoted, what's the brother name? Timothy McVeigh, not the brother, excuse me, the Urugu. Timothy McVeigh in this book. He read this book. Timothy McVeigh is the Oklahoma City bomber. He quoted this book as a manifesto. So when you look at a lot of their shootings, a lot of these things, you got to study white supremacy. You got to study white culture. You got to understand who and what these people are. The problem is they know so much about us, and we know nothing about them. We don't.
That's why I say we were stripped of our spirituality. Like you said, we stripped our spirituality, everything. We was just stripped of our native tongue.
Correct.
You know, we've been stripped so long that when the truth is in our face, we reject it.
I'm gonna tell you something that I've never heard scholars talk about. I'm not saying it hasn't been said, so I'm not trying to say I'm saying anything new. I'm saying I haven't heard it. I've never heard scholars ever make this point. And the point is that Europeans made their way into West Africa in the 1400s, right? We know Christopher Columbus, he connected with the Moors, he made his way to Ghana and things like that. They made their way into Africa in the 1400s. But they did not start enslaving Africans to the late 1600s, which means they sat in Africa for 100 years studying our culture before they began to enslave us. That's dedication.
Yeah.
They created a mulatto race in West Africa called the Signaries. Y'all can look this up. They're the Signaries. The people who came there were called the Linkatas. They created a mixed race group of people in West Africa. These mixed race group of people became the biggest slave traders in West Africa. And this is why you always hear people saying Africans sold other Africans into slavery. The mixed race people were selling the Africans into slavery, along with the Muslims and the Christians.
Mm. When you say mixed race, would you say mulatto people
Yes,
too?
mulattoes, excuse me, mulattoes,
Okay.
yes. You can look at the term Signaries, and then they give you a whole history of the Linkatas, how these Europeans came into Africa for 100-something years and studied our culture,
Wow,
studied our religious basis, to the point where, I'm going to give you an example, to a point where they study our culture so much that they realize that Africans, our idea of death is that we had to die intact, right? We had to die intact. That you don't cut off our heads, you don't do any of those barbaric things. You die intact. So what they realized was that it's taboo in our culture. So what they would do is they would literally chop off an African's head and put it on the front of the slave ship, so to put fear in the Africans, so Africans won't rebel. This is how much they study our culture. Bob Marley was into African tradition to some degree. This is why Bob Marley never had his toe amputated when they found out that he had gangrene, because he said Africans die intact. We don't amputate any of our body parts. This is African culture.
Ooh, dropping jewels for the people out there that definitely need to know about African culture. And speaking of that, man, because you know you got a lot of Black Americans over here in America don't feel like they got African in their DNA, or don't feel like they African or connect with African. Now remember, you got a lot of people that always to say too, certain scholars, certain different people will say, you know, we already had Africans over here in the United States. You know what I'm saying? Before they got enslaved or the Moors came and helped them, they already was over here. You know, so, and you know, you got the Native Americans that, you know, was over here before them too. So what do you got to say about that when, you know, you got a lot of Black Americans would say, you know, well, man, I'm not African, man. I ain't no African. I ain't with all that. What is your opinion on all that?
I mean, they're true in saying that Africans did travel here prior to the Europeans. We know that there are currents that can take you from West Africa straight into South America, right? But
that Atlantic big, ain't it?
I'm sorry?
I said that Atlantic big, that Atlantic big,
the way
they came down.
Will take you right into Central and South America, straight in from the west coast of Africa. It actually takes the same way that the hurricanes take. The same way the hurricanes come up the west coast of Africa, it takes you straight into the Caribbean. So we know that Africans travel here and travel back and forth, right? We know that there were kings from the Mali Empire who traveled back and forth. We know that, right? We know that there are well, let me make this point. Let me say this. There isn't any evidence of any Africans, right, here in the United States prior to the contact period with the Olmecs, right, and the other civilizations. That's why we got those big old heads in South America, and you know what I'm saying, they found some pyramids and mound builders along the Mississippi, because the Mississippi is to the United States what the Nile River is to Africa, right? It runs and it provides a way of travel up and down the United States. You could take the Mississippi from, I think, Canada all the way down to Louisiana.
Yeah, okay.
So the Nile River also runs all the way from the top of Kemet, Egypt, all the way down to, I think, about Tanzania, if I'm not mistaken, right? So we know that Africans travel here from the west coast of Africa to the United States. How do we know that? We know that because there was cocaine found in mummies in Kemet, in their system. And what is cocaine? Where does the poppy seed come from? South America. So there is an exchange of goods back and forth, right? Before the Columbian exchange, before Columbus even came. But I say all that to say this, even though we were here before the Europeans, does not mean that we were still African. Don't mean that we didn't come from Africa. Doesn't mean that our culture is not African. Doesn't mean essentially we are African people. There is no history in the Americas older than Olduvai Gorge or even further south. You cannot prove that all humanity, specifically African humanity, comes from that continent. So you know, we can say whatever we want, but the evidence points to itself. You got 3 ways you can prove it: through DNA, right? Through archaeological evidence, and I can't remember the third one: DNA, archaeological evidence, and I can't remember the third one right now. But there are 3 ways that we can prove that yes, Africans did travel here, but this is not where we cultivated ourselves at. This is not our homeland. This was a vacation spot for us. This is a vacation spot.
Now I want to ask you this, Brother Hassan. How do you feel about the term black? Because you know, you have like the Moors would always say, you know, like I'm not a crayon, I'm not black. I'm not, you know, we don't identify as black. Right. You know, now I'm gonna tell you how I feel about that. I feel like that's a term of what we all can identify as us as people. Black African people. A lot of people don't want to say African. A lot of people say black. I feel like it's still, we can identify with that term. Because you got certain, like I said, you got certain people like the Moors will say, well, I'm not black. Don't say black. I'm not a crayon. I'm not this, you know. But some people can identify with black. What's your opinion on that?
I mean, that's just another form of escapism, because that's how the system of racism and white supremacy works. It does a trick on our mind where we think, well, if you don't call me black, that means you can't treat me like I'm black, right? We know from, we know from the brother, the Moor brother in the courtroom that they beat up Geronimo. Don't fight Geronimo, and they beat him up and knock his fez off. That don't work. Okay, it's a form of escapism. It's a way of saying, I know that if I identify as African, if I identify as black, that means that I must suffer in some way, right? And so I'll give you an example. It's like the Pavlovian dog, right? You take this dog, you put the dog in the cage, right? You put a red light in front of the dog. You put some shockers on the back of his foot. And every time the red light goes beep, you shock the dog, right? So then after a while, the dog realizes that every time the light turns red, his hind legs get shocked. But after a while, you take the shockers off and you just flash the red light. The dog will still jump as if it's about to get shocked, but it's not getting shocked. The red light is just going off, right? Yeah. So Africans, black people, we have identified blackness and being African as suffering. So when you say you black or you African, don't tell me that. I ain't black, I ain't African. I'm something other than that, because we have
a lot of people say now they're indigenous. They, you know, I'm indigenous. Correct. You know what I mean? Correct. I mean, I'm like, you know, because it's like I feel like it's a form of division a lot when we saying like you said, when we saying this oppression, division. I'm not black, I'm indigenous, I'm not African, you know what I mean? So what the white man say, he the white man.
Right. The thing about it is this, here's the thing about it, right? Yeah. It's easier to fight with another black person about my identity. Nigga, don't tell me what I am. I'm black, I ain't black. Than to actually say, okay, I am black. Let's fight the white man. It's easy to fight with. It's just like when your mama come inside the room, right? And your mama beat one of y'all, and then you start laughing. You can't beat your mama, so you better laugh at me, punk. Shut up. Stop laughing at me. You take the anger out on the person you think you could beat. Yeah. So instead of fighting the white man, we gonna bang on each other about ideology. I'm a Moor, I'm a Hebrew, I'm a this, I'm a that, and we gonna dead near kill each other behind it. Instead of saying, okay, whatever you is, brother, let's fight the white man. But it's an internalized fear that we have that we don't want to fight the white man. So I'd rather fight you over what I think I am.
Yep. Man, it runs deep. The generation runs deep, man. And I just see it like as we getting older, you know what I'm saying? Because we consider like little OGs now as we getting up there older, and the youth is coming down. You know what I'm saying? The youth is coming down. But what I'm seeing with the youth, I'm seeing that these are smart young brothers and sisters. But the whole thing is no guidance. And what I mean is no guidance. Like me and you respect elders. You know what I'm saying? We came up on respecting our elders, learning and different things. They look at us as elders. Ain't no respect for no elders. Because you know why they look, I got more money than elders. We in a financial era right now. So, you know, that's what the youth look at. Go ahead, speak on that.
Right. Well, you also got to look at it where what makes you an elder? Like to be an elder, there has to be a level of wisdom, right? And so they looking at, okay, y'all elders, right? What are y'all leaving behind for us? What do we have tangible? You want me to believe in Black power? You want me to believe in African? But all you giving me is good words and a Dr. Francis Cress Wilson book and a Dr. Amos Wilson book. What institutions are y'all leaving behind for us that we can take on and rebuild and build on top of that, right? So you have to look at these children, the same thing in the 80s. They looking at who getting the money, the dope boy getting the money. So why I want to be like my daddy working construction when I could be the dope boy? And
why
look
we
at
think
the conscious community and say the same thing. Why I want to be like John Henry Clark or Dr. Amos Wilson, who didn't have a headstone and die broke, when I could be like Wyatt Van Lucci or Gucci Man? Why I want to be like that for? So we have to look at giving them hopes and dreams with nothing behind it.
Because all our youth want to do is be basketball players, football players, and rappers. And I'm just keeping it real, you know, and I feel like I wish that trend will break, you know, because we got too many athletes, we got too many rappers, we don't have enough scientists, we don't have enough.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
So the problem with that is that we make what's cool. We make the idea of being a basketball player cool. If we put more focus on intellectual property, the idea of being smart, cool, then children, we all want acceptance. It takes a strong-willed person to say, I don't care what y'all think. You have to be very secure in yourself to be like, F what y'all doing, I'm doing this. I'm going to be Brother Malcolm, right? But deep down inside of us, we all want to be accepted. So if the basketball player is going to get the girls, I want to be the basketball player. If the rapper is going to get the girls, if the fake rapper is going to get the girls, I want to be that. Until we change that dynamic as a community and say, nah, the scientist getting the girls. Nah, the engineer getting the girls. The dude that's going out here trying to find a weapon for Black people to fight against white supremacy is getting the girls. Then we always gonna have our children desiring to be that.
And you know, brother, I heard something that you said. I think in one of your videos, brother, you were saying how you know how to do things with your hands. You know how to work on cars. You know what I'm saying? You know how to work on, you know how to do things with your hands. I know how to fix things with my hands too, like fix things and different things too. What I'm saying, to make a long story short, is a lot of this generation we not raising up builders. We're not raising up that know how to work on things. Anyway, then we got computers doing everything for us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So our youth is not really coming inclined with knowing how to build anything or fix nothing like that. You know, so
well, the institution that I work at, which is the New Alkebla Educational Center in Fort Lauderdale, we are a project-based institution where we specifically teach information, and then we go and have the children utilize and put that information into a tangible thing. Like, for example, one semester we talked about movements, right? About social movements, from the Garvey movement to the Civil Rights movement. And then we took that idea of movements and put it into a car, because a movement is like a car. It has different elements, like the tires could be the people, the lights could be the leader, the key. So we took that, and then we had the children build a car. They assisted in making a car, right? So at the institution that I work at, we specifically teach the curriculum and then have the children use their hands to then make something with what they learned.
That's real. That's real. We need more, you know, we need more like trades out here too for kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's no trades going around for kids that want to even be an engineer either. So we got to say it like that, because all they see is the computer, athletes, rappers, actors, you know, all that. So
yeah, I could tell you one of the reasons why the trades were pulled out of the Black community. During the 60s, you had a lot of Black men going to prison. Either you, excuse me, I'm sorry. The options that you had was Vietnam, prison, or a pimp, right? So you had a lot of Black, or a revolutionary, or being involved in the Civil Rights movement to some degree, right? So those are the four options that you had. A lot of the Black men who went to prison for pimping and selling drugs and murder, et cetera, this is when you can do 15 years for a murder, right? So a lot of those dudes came home and they got trades in prison. This is when you could go to prison and get a degree. Dudes were coming out with trades. And so a lot of these Black men changing their lives, converting themselves to Islam, becoming a part of Nation Islam, they end up funding a lot of the Black Power movements. And so the government realized, wait a minute, these dudes are going into prison, criminals, and coming out with trades, and now they funding these people that's fighting against us. So we have to stop that. So this is why they took all the trades out of the prisons to decapitate the financial, you know what I'm saying, head start we were getting with coming out of prison, man.
Man.
Yeah.
Man, before we go, Brother Hassan, man, you got anything going on you want to let the people know, man, out there where to check you out at and different things?
I mean, yeah, man, you can look me up on all social media platforms, Brotha Hassan, BROTHA, Hassan, HASSAN, or you can go to brothahassan.com, purchase my children's book, Haiti and Her Friends. You can purchase a clock that I make, handmade clocks. I have some revolutionary buttons. You ain't gonna find these buttons anywhere else.
Yeah. Before we go, let talk about. I want you to talk about your book, bro. Like, can you show the people the children's book that you created?
Yes, sir. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, definitely that, bro. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to my brother, King Ugly Truth. I'm probably pronouncing the name wrong. He made this banner for me. Peace, peace, Black family. I think it's Ugly King Truth. Shout out to the brother. Go support him. So here, before I start with the book, this is a play that we did at the school that I work at. Not only do we, you know, we encourage the children to do theatrics as well, right? Like, we want the children to get more in touch with dancing, singing, acting, because we don't want the children to feel like you can't chase your dreams. You can chase your dreams, but like John Henry Clark says, make sure that what you do benefits your people. So if you're going to be an actor, don't take negative stereotype roles. Take positive roles that's going to empower your people. Make movies that's going to empower your people, right? Not saying you can't be a film director. Go do that. But make sure when you chase your dreams, you uplifting your people. So we made this play, The Rise and Fall of Henry Christophe, which is about the Haitian Revolution. And you know, it was very powerful. The children wrote it, they produced it, they put it together. They had an awesome time with this play, man. And yeah, I'm so proud of them, man. I am so proud of them with their writing skills and how well they did on acting the play out. And so this is my children's book, Haiti and Her Friends, which basically you know, talks about Haitian history.
Hold that book up again, bro, so the people can and let the people know where they can get that book from too.
I'm trying to get the right angle. Okay. You can get it at brothahassan.com, or you can hit me in my DM on Brotha Hassan, all social media platforms. I'll shoot you over the book. Yeah, real dope book, man. It basically chronologizes, talks about the history of Haiti, how it's connected to African American history and other histories in South America. Because one of the problems, especially that we're running into today, is that we don't think we're connected, right?
Yes.
We don't think that we are one people. You know, I get it. I have a Haitian culture, but I am Black. I am African. Okay. I'm not saying that you know, we know that there are coons in all cultures. There are coons in Haitian culture, there are coons in Jamaican culture, there are coons in Ghanaian culture, there are coons across the board. There are coons in African American culture, foundational Black American culture. There are coons all around. I understand that, right? But me as an African man who know I am having a Black experience in America. I might not be of the culture from the landmass. I have not been here for many generations, but I'm having a Black experience, right? And I understand that I'm an African person. And I'm here on the side to fight on Blackness. I can't speak for everybody because everybody doesn't have that viewpoint. But this book just kind of reminds us that we're one people. That we're one people, you know? And for those who get it, they get it. And for those who don't, we just leave them by the wayside. You know, we can't waste time trying to convince, you know, any and everybody about how great it is to be Black, how beautiful it is to be Black, and how you should be team Black when you are Black. We are the only people on the planet who have to convince our people to fight for our own best interests. You get what I'm saying? Right. There's a Ghanaian proverb that says, if you want to teach an ignorant person, you have to be a dentist. Because it's like pulling teeth. It's like pulling teeth to teach an ignorant person. You know, so we have to let those who are ignorant be ignorant. You know, give whoever wants the information, and keep it moving, man. You know, and that's why I appreciate you, brother. You know, bringing down your platform. We connect how we connect, and those who want it, want it. You know,
Man, I like I said, I appreciate you, man, because you teaching the kids though, bro. You a teacher, so you installing history that most teachers don't do.
right,
Especially that when I came up, we only got taught about the Civil War.
right,
You know, I'm down here in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, so we got taught about Robert E. Lee, the
right.
Civil War, Andrew Jackson, all these motherfuckers. You know, we ain't get taught about no Haitian Revolution. No, about Africa. We didn't get taught about that like that. We didn't even get taught about the slave trade when I was in school.
Right.
So, you know, I just give you credit right now for that, man, for even being from Miami, Florida, for coming way down there to come to Richmond, Virginia, man, to be stepped on the slave trail. And I never forget what you said, man. You said it was an eerie feeling that you had, man, walking through that slave trail. And before we go, man, speak on that, bro.
Brother,
Oh, in
remember,
Richmond, Virginia, when you came here,
we
speak
couldn't go
on
all the
that.
way through. Remember, I was like, I can't do it, brother. I got to go back.
Yeah.
Remember, we turned back.
Yeah.
That, man, listen. Oh, man, I've been
Speak
through a
on
lot
that
of
energy.
plantations.
Yeah.
That energy is there, right? Because the Africans, we speak a sixth language. We have a sixth sit for things, right? And when you are connection with your history and who you are, you feel those things. And I know a lot of people might say, well, you're not even American. You're not even Black American. So how can you relate to that? It doesn't matter. Your ancestors and my ancestors might not be directly, but I feel that pain. Because a lot of times we think that Caribbean people didn't go through slavery. Like as if they didn't go through, and a lot of Caribbean people think that too. A lot of Caribbean people are crazy like that. Because if you want to talk about miseducation, you ain't talking about miseducation unless you're talking about in the Caribbean. They still over there learning about England and France, right? So when we talk about miseducation, that Caribbean system is a beast with miseducating their people.
Yeah.
But to get back on subject, I felt that energy, man, because it's me. You are me, and I am you. You know, so when I was walking through that, I was like, I can't go through here, brother. It's giving me a feeling. I gotta go back.
But you know what, man? A lot of people that live in Richmond, Virginia, don't go down there.
Right.
A lot of people that's from Richmond, Virginia, don't even walk the slave trail or nothing. So before we go, I just got this little treat that, man, I want to show right quick. You know what I mean? That I got to bring up. I definitely got to bring it up right quick before we go, man, because this when you visit.
Man, it's breathtaking to be here and to see, you know, all the brush and the water.
Just talk about it.
You know, even though the water is calm now, but it's amazing to be here, man. It's breathtaking. It's something that really set you back, that really make you appreciate what your ancestors have been through.
Man, that's Richmond Slave Trail. We was just talking about that. Brother, how long ago was this? This was probably like what, 3 years ago?
I would say maybe 4.
4 years ago?
I would even say maybe 4. Yeah.
I ain't seen 4 years ago though.
It was 4 years ago. I don't even want to tell you how I know it's 4 years ago.
Yeah, I believe it's 4 years ago. It is, I believe it though.
Ago, man.
Yeah. I just want to salute you though, my brother, man, and I thank you for your time. Like I said, you know, I know you coming back down here, you know what I mean, to visit. You know, and like I said, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate all the knowledge you give out. I appreciate the type of person you is, the genuine, you know, you got going on with yourself. So I got to show you love, bro. And that's another thing, man. We hate to salute each other too. We hate to give each other credit. We hate to give each other that good energy because we so hate, because we got the slave mentality of the bottled up hatred in us. We can't even salute each other. You know, so I like to salute you, bro. I like to salute my people that's doing positive stuff, bro.
I appreciate you, and I salute you too, brother. For I mean, Ubuntu. I am because you are. You get what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't have the voice to speak if you ain't had the platform to provide me the voice to speak. You get what I'm saying? So Ubuntu, I salute you too, brother. You know what I'm saying? Keep up with the march. Keep boots on the ground. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir, bro. Thank you, bro.
All right.
All right, my bro. Yes, sir.